You ever been in those back-to-back meetings for a huge project? You see dozens, maybe hundreds of status slides, but you walk away feeling like you've got even less of a grip on what's really happening? If that sounds familiar, well, you've stumbled into the great governance myth. Today we're going to dive into a massive paradox in modern IT projects, the idea that our constant cycle of meetings and reports might actually be destroying the very control we're trying so hard to create.
For years, we've all bought into this idea that more communication, more meetings, more slide decks, automatically means better governance. But let's be honest, communication frequency has kind of become a lazy stand-in for actual governance quality. These old school meetings, they give us a trailing post-mortem view. We're always looking in the rearview mirror, talking about what's already happened.
And that leads to this really critical question. What if all this activity, all this communicating, isn't helping at all? What if it's just creating more and more organizational friction? And by friction, I mean that resistance that builds up when leaders can't see what's happening in real time, when huge risks can just pop up out of nowhere. And by the time you finally get to react, it's already way too late. So in this explainer, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we're going to really diagnose the governance friction problem. Then we'll get into the solution, the dynamic dashboard. After that, we'll look at the huge impact of shifting from just reporting on the past to actually steering the future. And finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future of governance itself. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the governance friction problem. We're about to expose some of the deep-seated flaws in the way we've been doing oversight for a long, long time. So where does this friction come from? Well, it boils down to a few key structural problems. First up, manual report compilation. Think about it. Your project managers are spending hours, maybe days, just copying and pasting data into PowerPoint instead of, actually driving the project forward. Then you've got delayed escalations. Bad news travels slowly, right? Especially when the data is already old or it's been, let's say, sanitized as it moves up the food chain. Then there's these subjective health assessments. That little green status light on a slide, a lot of the time, that's just somebody's opinion, not a reflection of cold, hard, system-validated data. And finally, this all creates intermediary dependency. A CIO who just wants a simple status update has to go through layers of management, and what they get is a filtered, delayed version of reality. To solve this, we need to totally rethink what we call governance maturity. It's really about an evolution. It's about moving from a reactive state where we're constantly fighting fires based on manual updates and, frankly, human guesswork, to a system-driven state. And this is a future where real-time data and predictive signals tell us where the fire is going to be before it even starts. Which brings us perfectly to section 2, the dynamic dashboard solution. This is all about making that huge, fundamental shift from looking backward to seeing what's happening right now, in real time. This quote absolutely nails the core philosophy. In a mature governance model, the system discovers problems for you 24/7. This frees up your meetings to be what they were always supposed to be, strategic forums for making smart, informed decisions, not these painful discovery sessions where you're just trying to figure out what went wrong last week. I mean, just imagine a world where a leader can get instant answers to their 4 most critical questions without a single phone call, without sending an email, and without calling an emergency meeting. What's our true health right now? What's the real probability we're going to miss that deadline? What's the actual forecasted completion date, not the one we're just hoping for? And is any specific team, like network or storage, starting to fall behind? That's the kind of power we're talking about here. What this approach does, effectively, is give the entire enterprise an internal monologue. It's like the project can think out loud, constantly feeding leaders a stream of real-time, completely unfiltered insight. No spin, no delays, just the ground truth as it happens. And what's really cool is how the dashboard turns all that raw data into actual intelligence. This isn't just a data dump, it's a strategic weapon. You get a single objective health score. You can see the predicted completion date versus the original plan. You can drill down into specific areas. But maybe most importantly, the risk forecast automatically flags tasks that are likely to cause delays, demanding your attention. The system does the heavy lifting, finding that needle in the haystack for you. Okay, let's move on to section 3 and see how this all comes together. We're talking about shifting from a culture of just reporting on what happened to one of proactively steering the ship, and that has a massive real-world impact. The first and most obvious benefit is just a huge boost in operational efficiency. You completely eliminate those soul-crushing manual reporting cycles. And because the system is giving you these predictive alerts, you can step in early, saving countless hours and, let's be real, a lot of money down the line. The second big benefit is a revolution in strategic accountability. When the data is totally transparent and unfiltered, it creates a culture of ownership. Problems get escalated immediately and automatically, based on data, not on office politics. Suddenly, there's nowhere to hide, which means everyone is laser-focused on finding solutions. And finally, all of this builds up to the ultimate prize: stakeholder confidence. When your executives, your board, and your clients see that you have this level of objective, transparent control over delivery, their trust in the organization just skyrockets. You're no longer just promising success, you're demonstrating competence in real time. This brings us to our final section, the future of governance. Now, this isn't just some clever new methodology. This is an inevitable shift in the entire industry. The only real question is, are you prepared for it? 80%? That's the projection from Gartner. By 2030, a staggering 80% of what we consider project management tasks are expected to be assisted by AI. This signals a massive, massive transition away from manual oversight and directly towards the kind of system-driven governance we've been talking about. It's really no longer a matter of if this is going to happen, but when. So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this one thought. Take a hard, honest look at how your organization oversees its most critical projects. Are you stuck in that endless cycle of meetings that just create more friction than clarity? Is your governance model a relic, something built for the past, or is it truly ready for the future?